300. What's the deal? It's your folks, Shaka. Wanted to share my thoughts with y'all real quick. Y'all, one thing that I see a lot, okay, in response to a lot of so called black folks exposing the fact that celebrities and their investments in their businesses don't mean much to the so called black community. I see in response the entertainment industry putting these people up front saying that they got all these businesses, saying that they got these investments. And the latest one that I've seen was LeBron working with that girl Osaka, and they about to do some type of media business type of thing. And I just want to speak to so-called black folks today to help you with understanding how you determine if these businesses actually mean something to the so-called black community or the so-called people of African descent out of the West that count. Okay. Um, and this is not about telling those owners or those celebrities over there to change. This is information that allows you to not be deceived and you can see it for what it is. And so let's get into it. So when they do this and they like to put things up front, okay, and you want to look a little deeper because you already know that it doesn't mean anything for the so-called black community because those people are on that other side. Okay. You cannot liberate the so-called black community or any so-called black people that count for real if you're on that other side. Okay. But if you wanted to go a little further than that, right, to see if it meant anything, you look at how important so-called black people are within those establishments, okay, or those situations. So, for example, you'll look at various things like, number one, are these businesses recruiting so-called black talent out of these colleges? Okay, because right now we got a situation like either so-called black folks get out, they got the education, they got the talent, but there's no demand for them for whatever reason in corporate America, so they kind of have to uh, still go to some normalized job with a degree, or it's a situation where which was set up. This is one of the biggest reasons why civil rights came about. It's a situation where these companies they are always scooping up the talent, okay, the best talent right when these graduates get out because that was set up by design. One of the reasons why they did civil rights is because they wanted that talent. They didn't want that talent concentrated in the black community. They were scared of what that would look like. You know what I'm saying? And so that was the one of the top reasons why civil rights even came about. So when you look at these so-called black businesses today, are they combating that? You know what I'm saying? Are they making sure to the best of their ability that some of these most talented so-called black folks are not sitting at home on the couch or sitting in another people's business, helping them continue to reign dominance over us? Or are they stopping that? You know, when it comes to the inner workings of the businesses, like I said, how important are the so-called black folks in those businesses? Do they got a lot of so-called black folks that are executives in the business? Is so-called black folks being in important roles in those businesses a culture? You know, you got to look at those things and see how much we matter in those situations. They show a lot of celebrities with doing books and writing books and various things like that. Who are the co-writers? I know that they talk about Rick Ross dropped a book that was very successful, but when you look at who was co-writing, it ain't a so-called black man. Okay? He didn't give a so-called black man that opportunity to make that happen. And so that doesn't really mean much for the so-called black community. So when they try to put up front that these celebrities got businesses that they own or they invested in a major business, don't be deceived by just that. Look a little further. And when you look a little further, it still remains the same. Okay? These celebrities don't mean nothing, or their businesses. They don't mean anything for the so-called black community. All right. Now, possible that will change. It's next to impossible. But if you want to see if that is a possibility, look into those things and don't look for the tokens. Okay, like I said, you got to look to see if it is a real culture within that business. You can't look at just the people that they got up front and they put up front with you, put up front in your face all of the time. Okay, that's probably just up there playing a role to deceive you, just like the person that is in charge over there. Okay, so comment below, like this information, hit the sub button and the bell. We dropping shit y'all like. It's your folks, Shaka the Urban Philosopher. I'm out. It's 300.